Game console repairs. In this video I'll be showing how to replace an Xbox 360 Slim broken Lite-On DVD drive with the brand new DVD drive. All the firmware revisions 9504, 0272, 0225, 0401 and 1071 are fully compatible. All you need to do is just purchase any Lite-On drive and you can follow it along. In addition, we'll also be replacing the existing locked PCB with the Team-Xecuter unlocked PCB. I'll explain the whole PCB replacement and the firmware read and write operation a bit later. These are the tools required in order to carry out the whole operation. These are the tools needed in order to open up your Xbox 360 Slim and your DVD drive. You need a large Phillips flathead screwdriver, a small Phillips flathead screwdriver, micro 10 precision screwdriver, Torx T10 screw bit screwdriver, Torx T8 screw bit screwdriver, metal spudger, scalpel, and you can either use X tool or XCM X8 unlock tool set. The tool we'll be using from this kit is this. It has a pointy end. This helps in removing the fan grills on both the side of the console. You'll also be needing a bit of soldering stuff. 30 to 40 watt soldering iron, preferably a reasonable soldering station is always handy. Solder, the ratio we have here is 60 by 40 and the diameter we use is 0.46 millimeter. Flux aids and helps in the process of soldering, and we'll be needing some of the cleaning stuff. We'll be using isopropylene alcohol, some cotton balls and Q-tips. These are the tools required for the PCB replacement and the firmware read and write operation. We'll be using Team-Xecuter tools, X360USB Pro version 1, unlocked replacement PCB version 1, CK3 Pro revision D kit to supply power source to a DVD drive using external Molex power adapter. We'll be reading the firmware from our original PCB. We'll be soldering the Team-Xecuter unlocked replacement PCB onto a new drive, and finally we'll be flashing the firmware files. Alright, let's get going. In this video I'll be showing you an example of Xbox 360 Slim broken DVD drive. I've got the Xbox 360 on. It's got this constant flashing light. I'm going to eject the tray. It doesn't eject. Obviously you cannot insert your disk. It doesn't read disk. The drive's gear and motor assembly is completely broken. In order to fix it, best and easiest and the cheapest option is simply replace with the brand new drive. Okay, let's get going. Step 1, remove the hard drive cover located here, and next you can simply pull out this fan grill. So take this off, take out the hard drive. Next grab your XCM or X tool, this pointy pin tool set, and what we'll be doing, just simply push it up from here, slide it in, and then there are these pin clips that you're unclipping simply, and then there is one hidden under this belt. Unclip that, unclip it, so these comes off. Basically what's happening here is what you're doing, you're putting the clip in and going in like that and pushing it that way and lifting it up. So that's the actual that's what you're doing on all these clips. So simply sliding this pin in, pushing it that way and lifting it up. Same here, same there. So these are on all these 6 clips. So that's done. Next step, there's another grill here that we need to remove. So grab your Phillips flathead screwdriver, simply place it anywhere there and you can gently just pull it up, and then you can simply lift this grill off. So this comes off. Next again there are 6 clips in there. Same technique we'll be using. grab it from this side and then slide this in and push it that way and lift up. There's a bit of a guesswork there. Okay, so this comes off again. This is what you're doing. So placing this pin in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. So slide the pin in, push it that way and lift it up on all of these. So that's the actual, this is the hole. That's what you're doing. Okay, once that comes off, so remove the Wi-Fi connector. There's a Torx screw in there, so simply unscrew it. So this comes off. It's basically connected by USB, so simply take this off. Okay, next we'll be removing the bottom cover. First, remove this XBOX360 sticker. Okay, and this side is easier. You'll see these two clips here. So to see actually, so there are two clips here. Simply use your flathead screwdriver and unclip these two clips here. So as you can see, so there were two clips, so simply unclip them so it comes off. So that's your two clips. Now on this side there's one clip. You can simply unclip it using flathead screwdriver, but the other one is further down. So first unclip the first one, and once it's unclipped, all you need to do, use your flathead screwdriver, and where the Xbox 360 sticker was, simply push this flathead screwdriver in, and then that unclips this clip here. Now as you can see, our bottom half is separated, so simply gently pull it out if you can. Sometimes there are a few clips in there, so simply unclip them as well. So one, use any of your flathead or micro-turn precision screwdriver. There are a few clips in there, simply unclip them. Once it's unclipped, you can take off the bottom plate. So that comes off. Next, there are 5 Torx 10 screws there that you need to unscrew to remove the front faceplate and the top cover. So grab your Torx screwdriver and unscrew these 5 screws. Now we can simply pull out the faceplate. It's connected with this cable here, so gently remove this cable from its connector, unclip it, and you can remove your front faceplate, and you can easily lift up your top cover. Next, remove the DVD drive. It's connected with the power cable here and SATA cable, so simply use your flathead screwdriver. Easier just to remove the solder cable and pull up the DVD drive. Okay, our Xbox 360 is opened. Let's connect up all our devices and do all the connection setups. Here we have Xecuter X360 USB Pro version 1, and we'll be using CK3 Pro revision D kit to supply power to our DVD drive using external Molex power adapter. Step 1, let's just turn the kit on. Next, we'll be using Jungle Flasher software in order to retrieve our DVD key and flash the stock firmware. So once the Jungle Flasher is loaded, you will be presented with this screen. Switch to DVDKey 32 tab. Make sure you have all the settings like this. As you can see under drive properties, drive has been detected. In order to retrieve our DVD key, press on SLIM key, click no, and then yes, and turn on and off your kit. Jungle Flasher is doing its tricks in order to retrieve the DVD key. Once the DVD key has been retrieved, simply save it. You will be presented with this pop-up message whether you want to load the custom firmware. No, we do not want to, so we'll be flashing the stock firmware. So I've already got the flash stock firmware saved. Click spoof source to target, and that's our Jungle Flasher process already. Next, we'll be desoldering the PCB from this drive and soldering the Xecuter unlocked PCB and flashing the firmware. Here are the tools required in order to open up your Xbox 360 SLIM DVD drive and replace the existing PCB with the Xecuter PCB. Okay, in order to open up the DVD drive, you need Phillips number 2 screw bit screwdriver, small Phillips 0 screw bit screwdriver, small microturn precision screwdriver, small Phillips flathead screwdriver, metal spudger. You'll also be needing a bit of soldering stuff, so soldering iron, 30 to 40 watt, preferably a reasonable soldering station is always handy. Solder flux, the ratio we have here is 60 by 40, and the diameter we use is 0.46 millimeter. Very important, flux aids in the soldering process, so a bit of flux is also needed. In order to clean up the flux, you need a bit of cleaning stuff as well, so you need isopropylene alcohol and some cotton balls. Alright, let's get going. Step 1, remove this rubber band. Next, we'll be separating the bottom cover. In order to do that, simply take off these warranty stickers, and we'll be removing this adhesive pad here. So simply grab your metal spudger and just run it along the side and remove the adhesive underneath it. So that's more than enough. Next, make a cut on these stickers and take off these screws. Okay, we now lift up our bottom cover. If the adhesive is still stuck, you have to use your metal smudger and remove that. Okay, so our bottom comes off. Put it aside. Next, we'll be disconnecting the 3 cables. Next, we'll be desoldering all these wires and removing the PCB. So simply take out the wires first. Okay, so we'll be desoldering all these and placing our Xecuter unlocked PCB. Okay, and simply desolder all these wires one by one. Next, we'll be removing this screw in order to lift up our PCB. Okay, so there's a clip here. Simply unclip it, and now you are able to lift up our PCB. There's another clip here, and just take it out. Next, grab your Xecuter unlocked PCB, and we'll be soldering this onto our drive. Okay, so again we'll be desoldering this wire here, and we'll be just placing onto our DVD drive. Next, let's place our PCB back in its spot. Just align it with these hole and place it in. Next, place your small screw here and connect the 3 cables. Next, we'll be soldering these wires. Grab a bit of flux, so just simply drop just one little drop. That's more than enough. And pre-tin it and solder the wires one by one. So all the wires are labeled. So the first one is black, then red, yellow, green, white. So simply solder them. Next, simply tuck the wires back here. Next, grab a bit of isopropylene alcohol and clean up the flux. That's it. We won't be placing the bottom cover just yet, as we need to use this write enable switch for the firmware flashing process. Alright, let's proceed with the firmware flashing. Once our Xecuter PCB is soldered properly, here are connection setups one more time. We'll be using X360USB Pro to program the firmware, and we'll be using Xecuter CK3 Pro Division DK to supply power source to a DVD using external Molex power adapter. Just to quickly show you one small thing regarding unlocked PCB, it has a switch, WP equal 1. It has two settings, 1 and 0. 1 means write protection is disabled and you can program any firmware. So move the switch to 1 so that we can able to program the firmware. So make sure it's on 1 when you are flashing any firmware file. Next we'll be using Jungle Flasher utility in order to flash the firmware files. Step 1, simply turn on your CK3 Pro and fire up Jungle Flasher. Once loaded, you'll be presented with this screen. Simply switch to DVDKey 32 tab. As you can see under drive properties, our drive has been detected. In case if your drive is not detected, it's completely normal. You can click on IO port, refresh a couple of times and see if it detects it. Turn on and off your CK3 Pro and see if it detects it. If it doesn't, it's all good. All we need to do is just put the drive into vendor mode and program the firmware, and that's how we okay. In order to put the drive into vendor mode, simply switch to MTK Flash 32 tab. If nothing is coming under drive properties, it's completely normal. So let's put the drive into the vendor mode. Simply click on Intro Device ID button, press yes, turn on and off your CK3 Pro, and our drive should kick into vendor mode straight away. Okay, make sure you have all the settings exactly like this. Now this is on PHAT, which is correct. Next we have another button. This means write protection is currently enabled, which means we cannot program the firmware. So click on this button. So you should have it on this setting. SPI lock status should be on this, which means write protection is disabled and we can program any firmware. In order to program the firmware, we need to load the firmware in the buffer. So switch to Firmware Tool 32 tab. Load up your firmware that we saved earlier. It's asking whether you want to load the Extreme custom firmware. No, we don't want that. We'll be flashing with the stock firmware. So switch to general stock, and that's our stock firmware. Click spoof source to target, and that's our firmware loaded in the buffer and ready to be programmed. In order to program it, simply click on the right button and it will program the firmware. Almost here. Last couple of things. First, press on this button. That's fine. So it's on this setting, which means write protection is now enabled, and move the switch to 0. This means now the PCB is in a locked state. Next, kick the drive out of the vendor mode or pressing outro auto reset button. No drive detected. That's completely normal. You may have to press the button a couple of times in order to kick the drive out of the vendor mode. So press it again. Our drive has been detected. Best option would be if your drive is still not detected, so press it a couple of times and put your drive back in the console and see if you don't get any open tray errors and your drive is reading the game disks fine. If you do get any open tray errors, then you may have to connect your drive again and kick it out of the vendor mode and press the auto reset button a couple of times. That's about it. Thank you. Next, Xecuter Unlocked PCB does come with a heatsink. This heatsink goes over in this IC. You can use this, however your original PCB has all these heat sinks as well. So if you're not going to use your original PCB, you can simply take this off and these two heat sinks and place on your on your new Executor Unlocked PCB. I'm simply going to take this off and place these ones on these ICs. Next, grab your bottom plate and place it back on the DVD drive. You may have to use your metal spudger or small micro-turn precision screwdriver or a small Phillips flathead screwdriver in case if this doesn't going in easily. You may have to move this out of the way. Once the bottom cover is in place, next simply place the 4 screws. Next, place this rubber band back in its place. Alright, let's put a console back together. Step 1, let's place our DVD drive, align the 2 cables and place the DVD drive back in its spot. Next, we'll be placing our top cover along with the faceplate. So the top goes like this. Next, let's place our faceplate. First, we need to put our ribbon cable. Okay, once the ribbon cable and everything's in, simply align these with these 4 holes and slide it in. Next, we'll be placing the 5 long torque screws. Next, we'll be placing our bottom cover, so simply align this over here and slide it in. Once it's clipped in, and clip back this side in as well. Next, we'll be placing our Wi-Fi module. And place its screw. Next, we'll be putting the fan grills on both sides and hard drive cover. Simply align these 2 clips with these 2 clips over here and slide it in. Next, place back the grill. Next, place back the frame on this side as well. Place the hard drive. And grill and the hard drive cover. All done.
Thanks for watching the videos. Please go to gc-repairs.com to purchase all the tools and accessories you need. Thank you.